Herodotus recalls in his book, Histories, a famous story of two men, Solon and Croesus. Croesus is the extravagantly wealthy king of the Turkish province Lydia, and Solon is a highly respected lawmaker from the city-state Athens. The king entertained the lawgiver for 2 days and 2 nights to demonstrate his vast wealth. Solon noted to himself that even the temples built to the gods were made out of gold. On the 3rd day, satisfied with his demonstration and slouched over his throne, Croesus inquires a question to Solon that will live on for millennia. Who is the happiest man alive? Solon admonishingly tells the king that the happiest man he's ever met was an Athenian peasant who raised a family, built a farm, and died at a ripe old age content in what he had created. Croesus angrily responds that Solon must leave his kingdom, and that there's no way an Athenian peasant could possibly be happier than the rich and noble king of Lydia. Croesus would later fall victim to the conquests of the Persian king Cyrus, but not after the death of his son in battle, the suicide of his wife, and the total destruction of his kingdom. The favored form of teaching in Greece at this time was through dialogues. Dialogues are meant to provide realism. They show what is happening instead of telling it, and this helps build a more intuitive understanding. The purpose of this dialogue is to demonstrate that wealth and luxury do not mean that you will live a long and happy life. The Greek term for happiness is eudaimonia, the literal translation to mean flourishing life. A life worth living is one in which you leave something behind, in your accomplishments, but most importantly in your legacy. Happiness is described in modern literature as a psychological state of being. People chase a lifestyle deemed culturally to be happy, and for a while it may be satiating, but it's unsustainable. The pursuit of things like comfort, relaxation, and pleasure, they soften your ability to persevere. And that perseverance is what you need to achieve something that is worth achieving, to make you feel like you have worth in yourself. I think a perfect way to demonstrate my point is with Nobel Prize winner Albert Einstein, who in my opinion is the happiest man to ever live. Einstein's contributions to science are widely acknowledged, and it's true that he was a gifted intellectual, but he was also a tireless worker. A dedicated truth seeker, he worked unwaveringly until the final days of his life. At the age of 76, Einstein suffered an aneurysm in his abdomen, and on his way out the door to the hospital, he made his assistant go back into the house to grab a draft speech commemorating the 7th anniversary for the creation of Israel, so that he could work on it while he was in the hospital. He refused a life-saving surgery, stating, "I want to go when I want. It is tasteless to prolong life artificially. I have done my share, it is time to go, and I will do so elegantly." The accounts of his final days are ones of striking calmness in the face of imminent demise, which he saw as a natural and inevitable event. On his final day, in between respites of pain from internal hemorrhaging, he read the paper, joked with his secretary, and discussed politics and scientific matters with his doctor. While Einstein is known as a scientist, he was also a philosopher and activist. He was once offered and declined the Israel presidency. For a man who believes that death is the end, he faced it with grace and dignity. He ventured forward in life, pushed the boundaries of our understanding of the universe, and believed that even in the end, he had lived a life worth living, a flourishing life. To end this, I'd like to share part of a speech he wrote, but never delivered. Strange is our situation here upon earth. Each of us comes for a short visit, not knowing why, yet sometimes seeming to divine a purpose, to ponder interminably over the reason for one's own existence or the meaning of life in general, to me, from an objective point of view, is sheer folly. And yet everyone holds certain ideas by which he guides his aspirations and his judgments. The ideas which have always shone before me and filled me with joy of living are goodness, beauty, and truth.